faster, I'm more secure than you'll ever be. I'm faster, I'm cheap, and my name is XRP. Yeah, I get everybody by surprise with my money. Everybody by surprise, XRP. Everybody by surprise, see it coming. Everybody gotta just wait and see. I get everybody by surprise with my money. Everybody by surprise, XRP. Everybody by surprise, see it coming. Everybody gotta just wait and see. Bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked now. Bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked now. I'm more secure than you'll ever be. I'm faster, I'm cheap, and my name is XRP. I'm faster, I'm more secure than you'll ever be. I'm faster, I'm cheap, and my name is XRP. Everybody by surprise with my money. Everybody by surprise, XRP. Everybody by surprise, see it coming. Everybody just wait and see. I get everybody by surprise with my money. Everybody by surprise, XRP. Everybody by surprise, see it coming. Everybody gotta just wait and see. I get everybody by surprise with my money. Everybody by surprise, XRP. Everybody by surprise, see it coming. Everybody gotta just wait and see.
Hello everyone, let's get started. We're a minute early. However, I will start anyway. I have no sponsored links and no financial interests. I hope everyone is well and healthy in that pandemic. In my family, my brother, who isn't talking for a few years with me anymore, and his wife are positive. My parents have visited him, so they're in quarantine right now for, I think, an additional week. Now, other than that, we're actually quite good. My wife and me, we're doing well. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous because I lack a little bit how do you say, experience, because I'm not doing live streams on a regular basis anymore. Let's see what we can do. So today I have roughly 3 topics, and I want to start first with an information I have given about 18 months back, how I see prices should need to develop once ODL is supposed to handle high value transactions. In target 2, Europe is about 20% of the world market. We have 1.7 trillion value going through target 2. That's roughly a 50 million payment every 2 to 3 seconds. Now, here it should be 3. Let's go through that table quickly so that you understand. So from the Spark, actually before we start with that, I wanna just give you an idea how that my I mean, up to now, I couldn't really prove that my figures I'm proposing on my live streams and so are more or less correct. However, I figured I have done in end of August, based on that tweet or on one of the tweets from Ronald Online. This one was from 1st September, where we had 900 million XRP already set up for Spark. I took figures from a few days earlier. There we had 11,000 accounts, and on the 1st September it was already 15,000 accounts. So I did an approximation and I came to roughly 22 billion or 22.5 billion XRP, which might be claimed until the end. As we all know, it's 23 billion. It's actually, I will put all that information on PDFs in the description of the current live stream. There is a second link which points to the XRP kind of being claimed on the 12th. So now let's take a look at this price thingies. Okay, here the title is wrong because yesterday in German I thought we had 21 billion, but it's 23. But it really doesn't change the fact a lot. So what we see in the yellow row is last time I talked about those figures, basically everyone was thinking Swift handles 5 trillion volume a day. Since a few months I have reason to believe that it's about half that, 2.5 trillion. So that's why I reduced that number. The yellow row is the percentage of Swift volume. So 1% would be 25 billion and 10% $250 billion a day, right? Forgot the assumptions. The assumptions are every XRP holder will sell his XRP, all of them, when a bank wants to do a high value transaction. And every XRP holder will want to make a profit because there is always someone who will buy on the other side, and that person will want to make a decent profit. We're not considering market makers. I'm pretty sure the market makers will not make more than 1% of that volume of XRP we speculators have. Okay, so in the left column here we have prices, 50 cents a dollar until $10,000, and then we have the volumes per day. And in the table, so can you see that? Like the white marked area right now is the days, how long the market could sustain at the current price until all XRP is basically sold. And the assumption would be that a global system, to be able to work properly, that it needs to be liquid between 3 months and 6 months. Okay, so if we go and check, that would be somewhere around like when we are dealing 1%, 25 billion, that would be around $100. Then we had like 3 months of liquidity, something. The more percentage RippleNet will cover, the less obviously days that same price will hold the market liquid. So at 5% already, to have the same 90 days, the price would need to be 5 times higher, because it's also 5 times market share. Okay, now the 20 that assumption, or that table was based on the assumption that basically all 23 billion XRP hodlers are willing to sell. I think now I have to show something. I think it will be much less. I think it will be around 5 billion a day. And how do I get to that conclusion? Let me quickly show. I forgot to open those pages. Hold on. So, and then we open these ones. Oh no, that's the wrong ones. Okay, so close. Coin codex. So we look quickly at the volume of Bitcoin and XRP. It's I think rather interesting. So if we open Bitcoin and if we open XRP, come on, why? So here we have the Bitcoin chart. Let's select 6 months. It's really slow, my machine, I'm sorry about that. And also here on XRP 6 months. So going back to Bitcoin, we have like 400 billion market cap. Throughout the year it's usually way below. We can see here like 33 billion, sometimes a little bit above 10%, but usually when you scroll here it's way below 10% of the market cap. It started increase in November when we have seen those higher prices, up until recently where it was like almost 25% of the market cap as volume. For XRP it's the same. We have, when we go back, 10 billion, which is damn it, come on. I hate those sites. So we had like 5 billion, we had 2 billion, so it's roughly also up to 10% of the market cap. Obviously at those times the price was lower, so the percentage would be higher, but we compare it to today's market cap, never mind. Now the interesting thing with XRP is on high volatile days like we had in December, like the trading volume, how CoinCodex reports it, is actually quite high. So like almost the whole market cap is being traded. Maybe Richard can make a comment on that. However, I think on a normal, when the price is rather stable and not so volatile, I think we will see less XRP traded on a normal day. Which basically means, when we go back to the first table here, we had at $100 and 1%, we had this 3 months. If we check the same with less XRP traded per day, then we have at $100 and 1% only less than a month. So we would need to have already then $500 to come to like 3 months, 100 days at 1%. And the higher the percentage we cover, the less days the market will be fluid. Okay. Now, one of my followers in the same table I made with 2 billions, but I think, I mean, look at it yourself in the PDF later on. I've made a table about compound interest. Here are the days, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 days and such. Like every day 1% increase. That would basically mean somewhere around 65 days we triple our value. We double our value. So, 70 days, sorry, my bad. At 2%, it's around 70 days, it's already like 4 times the value, the current value, and at 3%, it's after 70 days already 8 times the percent. So that guy told me, well, what about if the price would increase on a daily basis? And I thought, okay, interesting idea. Let's do an experiment with those figures. I took 25 billion daily trade. I made columns for 1, 2, and 3%. Now when we see it, and we start roughly at 50 cents, where we're now basically. So as you can see, the days for those high value transactions, if the whole 25 billion would need to be traded, even after 200 days, daily 1% price increase, we would have only 3 days of liquidity, which is basically not enough, because that would mean the people selling or buying here would need to sell here already, and they would have only made 3%, which is definitely not enough. So when we look at the same process with 2%, it's also not really better. After 200 days, we have still only like less than a month liquidity. At 3%, it starts getting a little bit more interesting. Then we would have, after half a year, this price, $100, which actually corresponds to the price I have shown before. Here, $100, actually here, $100, and this 90 days. So that's basically also a good correlation for that information. So now I have to find it again. 3%, 180 days, $100, roughly 100 days. Now if we consider like 10 times the volume, 250 billion a day, then even that wouldn't suffice. I know. Now everyone will tell me, yeah, but now we're dealing like 5 million a day or so. That's right, but I mean, pretty sure everyone assumes that whatever the problem is, be it regulation or something else, once that's settled, pretty much everyone assumes that we will see higher volume. At least I hope so. Okay, so that's so far about the prices, which basically should prove my point I brought up, as I said, about 18 months ago, that that we need 4 digits in order to maintain a decent global market share for a decent amount of time, like between 3 and 6 months. Okay. Now some people don't quite understand that snapshot thing being done for Spark, and I want to quickly explain how the XRP ledger works. We have here columns, ledger 1, ledger 2, 3, and so on. So every 3 to 4 seconds such a column is written. In that, let's say, log or ledger written, we have all transactions occurring, and we know that we can have like per ledger around 6,000 transactions, because we have a throughput of 1500 transactions per second, and 3 to 4 seconds means that we can almost store 6,000 transactions per second. But what also will be stored on each ledger are the 2 million accounts. Okay, and that you will not see on that link which has been going through. And I will now try to show that how that works. So basically that link has been distributed. That's the ledger index for the Spark Snapshot. And then some funny people took their address, that's the Kraken address, put it here, click OK, and they wondered why they have less XRP there. The thing is, if you click search here, it will figure out your current balance. In here, we can only see the transactions and not the counts, because it's like 2.2 or more million accounts. The list would be like endless. Okay? So, what I kind of did, and I will put that in the description of the video of today too, I explained how you yourself can, with that link, you put some code in there, like here. Actually, we could do that. We take that address from Kraken, put it here, then here we need to put to false, false, and here we need the ledger number, and if we now click send request, we can actually see that on the snapshot day Kraken had 788 million. If we check today, it's 715 million, and we can see that in the transactions here. There are a few smaller transactions, but there is a 200 million transaction going out right after the snapshot, few days after the snapshot, and like 50 millions and 30. So basically that explains the difference. And what I also did, I did a little HTML page, and the source is actually rather small. It's less than 30 lines of code. The important part is basically this or this. So what it does is you call that HTML page, you give it after the question mark the address you want to check how many XRP have been there on the snapshot day. You run it, and then it will give you that number, which is not the number Kraken has today. Okay, so that's important to understand. The only thing that happened on the snapshot day is Flare took from that specific ledger like a picture and knew account 1 has 30 XRP, account B has whatever other. That's it. After the snapshot you can sell, and you will still receive the appropriate amount of Spark. However, most, I hope, are aware of that. Once we receive Spark, we will only receive 15%, and then consecutively between 2 and 4% randomly chosen. That means, I think, how they say, between 23 and 35 months it could take until we have all Flare tokens. Now, let me give you an idea how the price may develop, and let me first try to make you understand how the price of Flare, of Spark, will be, on what it basically depends. So I made like 3 scenarios: the blue, this greenish, and the green one. And the first column is market caps, it's not really important. Then we have the coins. We know that we have roughly 43 billion of XRP, which is not from Ripple and stuff. We know we will have like 45 billion of XRP. Those figures don't change. And then, then I made an assumption that we have like 3.5 billion of FXRP minted. Okay? And then here, that's the important one, the yellow parts, I put prices, like this calculation I did when we were still below 30 cents. So I put prices in here, and then I put a higher price for XRP, like $5 and $50. But as you can see, the percentage of, like, between the Spark price, because the Spark always has to be 2.5 times in value as collateral for the XRP, and that relationship is very important. So basically the Spark price will depend on 2 things, and 2 things only: how many FXRP are minted, and how many Spark are available. Okay? Now in the next section, in this light green, I have minted more, like 5 times more or so, FXRP. And then we see if it's like 17 billion FXRP minted, even at the same prices, 28 cents, $5.50, the ratio doesn't change. It's only higher because we have more FXRP minted, and thus we need more value stored in Spark. Okay, if we mint even more FXRP, like 35 billion at the same prices, 28 cents, $5, $50, the relationship changes in our favor. That basically Spark may have almost double the value than the XRP we hold. But honestly speaking, and this we will look now in the tables below, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't assume that we will see, or let me phrase it positive, I think we will not see 5 billion FXRP minted in the first year. I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah. And then it also depends on who is actually giving his Spark for collateral, because you can also decide not to do that, not to become an agent. Okay, so first table, price ratio Spark XRP. Here we have the unchangeable XRP, the unchangeable Spark. The bright minds will realize an error here. And then FXRP minted, which increases by 1 billion. And here we have the price. The price is actually, the FXRP or XRP price is actually irrelevant. Now I have set the price of $1. I can set it to $100, and you will see the price ratio, the last column, will not change at all. It will be just the market cap for Spark and FXRP which changes. But the ratio towards your XRP doesn't change at all. So here we would see in that table that roughly around 18 billion FXRP minted, pending the fact that all 100%, like the 45 billion Spark would be available by then. That would mean that then we would have like doubled our value, because the Spark XRP price ratio would be 1. Like one Spark would have the same, roughly the same price than one XRP. An intelligent mind, and now I'm coming to the error, I mean it's an assumption I did up here that we have all Spark available. A bright mind told me that the table could be wrong because we basically start with 15% of the 45 billion Spark initially only. Okay, so that's the changed table. But what I also changed here is I changed the minted FXRP, and I said, okay, here I increase like the monthly increase of Spark available, and I increase like monthly by 500 million additional FXRP minted. And in that scenario we would have way less Spark, which is basically favoring us, but we would also have way less FXRP minted, which will bring us after, I don't know, about 1.5 years to the doubling of our value. In the table above it would have been roughly after a year the case, pending the fact that all Spark would be available. So that's basically what I wanted to tell, that the Spark price will depend very much on the ratio of Spark available and being used as collateral. Why can't I pop out? And the FXRP minted. That's very important to understand. Spark will, I mean, it could be that speculation will drive the price higher even. That's always the case. But just from algorithmic point of view, what I've shown needs to happen, otherwise the system won't work. Okay, now I'm there for questions. 30 minutes for introduction. I hope everything was clear what I explained. Paulo Hugos. When did you? Paulo Hugos is asking if my figures take into account that XRP will be used many times per day. Then I ask you, Paulo, how many did you sell today? Did you buy today? Did you sell today? Did you buy today? Like, just to give you an idea, 25 billion of high value transaction. That means roughly, what did I calculate? Roughly every 3 seconds a 1 million transaction. Okay? There will be market makers for sure, but I'm pretty sure, I am pretty sure that they don't make, I don't know, maybe 1% of the XRP available, but not 10%. So they will have way. So those XRP which will be used several times a day, which will make up way less. Then we're maybe dealing, I don't know, with 2 billion or so, which would need to make the price increase even higher. No, I didn't see the picture on Telegram. Let me check. Like the picture about the Spark distribution. Well, that I have been talking about already, Richard. So everything clear, no question. Then that was a quick live stream, 35 minutes. I mean, we can talk anything else. I didn't look into this Flare Finance stuff yet too much. I've been hearing that there will be another airdrop of Y Flare, which we will receive, like someone, I don't know the details there yet. But the thing is that, I mean, the main reason for these airdrops is to get the system up and running quickly. Because they need liquidity, and that way they create liquidity. That's the only reason for any and every airdrop being done. Let's assume you create a new blockchain, the IMHO blockchain. I mean, if I ask, I don't know, 10 exchanges, if they want to make it tradable, they will tell me, but no one will sell, because no one holds. So first I have to bring it somehow to the masses, and that's what the airdrop is doing actually. Everything clear, Spark clear, Snapshot clear. Is it so slow? Can you hear me? It tells me excellent connection, better than yesterday actually. Top chat, maybe I should live chat. Maybe there is more messages there. No. Are you sleeping, guys? Okay, I mean, I give you 1 more minute. If no other question is coming, then we will stop here for today. Basically, let me summarize what I have been talking about. I have been talking about the prices required for XRP once we see high value transaction going through the system. It depends on the volume being transacted and how many XRP will be available per day. And I'm sure that market makers will not make them, I don't know, also 10% of the XRP available would be crazy if that would be handled by market makers. Absolutely. Literally don't think it's 10%. I rather think it's 1%. And by high value I mean 25 billion, I repeat, that means like every 3-4 seconds a 1 million transaction will go through the system. In target 2 in Europe we have every 3 seconds a 50 million transaction in average. That means like every half a second a 10 million transaction in average. That's like figures you have to imagine what could come eventually, and I'm really hopeful that it will come someday. And with this Flare network, the nice thing, what I really like about Flare, regardless of if you can make additional yield by providing your Spark or so, but the more FXRP are minted, the higher the price of XRP will have to go, because less XRP will be available for what XRP is actually made, for ODL. That will also be a crucial factor. Let's say if 20 billion FXRP are minted one day, that would mean that the maximum liquid supply of XRP will be reduced by kind of 50%. Okay, could be that Ripple releases until then an additional 10 billion of the escrow into the market, but anyway. So price of XRP depends on market volume and on how much XRP will be available to transact those transactions, to process those transactions. The more you hodl, the higher the price will have to go. I can also summarize it as that. On Spark side, we will most likely see some speculative price, but if there isn't much speculation on the Spark, then the Spark price will have to relate to the ratios between FXRP minted and Spark available as collateral. That will basically define the price somehow or the other way. And as initially, like as soon as we get the first 15% of Spark, I told that, I don't know, months or two ago, I don't think that the Spark will have more than 10% of the value of an XRP. Most likely it'll be rather in the 1% or less area. But as I showed you, that could change if a lot of FXRP are minted and if only few Spark are actually available for collateral. I don't know about Kraken, Richard. I mean, as Ripple basically doesn't give us like additional information about new corridors. Could be. I mean, I really I don't know. Okay, with that I wish you nice holidays. Was quick, but I see there are not too many questions and we don't need to stretch the live stream. I wish you really good time. Take care, and let's hope that this knot, which is holding ODL from performing the way we want it to perform, will eventually be solved, and we will see soaring prices. Take care, my friends. Bye bye.
faster, I'm more secure than you'll ever be. I'm faster, I'm cheap and my name is XRP.